Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on that wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas, then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons?
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried it the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning and welcome to Guardian Radio AM. Today is finally Friday, April. How you know I was going to forget the date?
Because you're a hard-working man.
It is April 4th. It's a little after 11 o'clock in the morning. And once again, this is CA Newry. Today I wanted to have an open line Friday, right? And I said, yesterday was different. Yesterday we had an interrogation of what was trending inside the news. I said, let me follow that theme, that aspect of questioning. It's still an analytical type approach of like what we normally do on Wednesdays. And this whole week, we've been having a number of guests that we had to interview, and we didn't get to have our regular man down mashup Wednesday. But today, some things was trending from the earlier the week. Yesterday, we had like 15 to 20 minutes of some questioning and answering type concept of what is this thing real? Is this concept theory is what it's supposed to be? That's my words, right? But I'm going to start that program with Erin. Erin Green is joining me as we do that. She has a list of questions which was on her mind. She said, man, Newry, what do you think about these? I said, man, just ask the questions. Just ask the questions, and then we'll see if the listening audience or myself can come up with some kind of reasonable answer as to what is being intended to be said. Anyway, Erin, how you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Good. So what you have on agenda? I see you had an article the other day about one judge ruling. And even though you would say that for last week, I said...
for next week.
Yeah, for next week, I said, man, that's something that we should at least read into the record, because I have some questions about that. There's a new case about a ruling from a KC all the way to the Privy Council, and I guess we can combine those two, lawyers, judges, courts in the Bahamas and what's happening. So we can consider that for next week too, right? But go ahead. I'm sorry.
All right. I was looking for that article. I do have it in my notes somewhere, but I did not print it. Good stuff. Maybe Monday we talk about it. All right. So the questions that I asked Newry yesterday were all centered around the big movement in the House of Assembly day before yesterday. That would have been Wednesday, the 2nd of April, where Iram Lewis, MP for Central Grand Bahama, announced that he had withdrawn from the Free National Movement caucus and had joined the Coalition of Independents, TS, Independents. Right? And so the articles that I read and then sort of derived questions from are the following. Iram Lewis leaves FNM, joins COI. Iram resigns, Central GB MP leaves FNM for Coalition of Independence. Also, coalition bolstered by Lewis's addition to party. Iram Lewis exits FNM and joins Coalition of Independence again. No room for Minnis, former PM, and Gibson denied nominations, right? And so I'm going to start with the new batch of questions, with quotes taken from various articles.
Before you start,
Yeah.
let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Is it the COI, is it a political party as yet, or is it still a coalition, a grouping of individuals with different mindsets coming together for
Look
a
where
purpose?
you gone. Look where you gone because, wow, what a question. We attempted to interrogate, would a coalition of independents be described as a political party? What things have to happen for them to be formally recognized, right, as a political party? A coalition of independents, that is, right? And so at this point, let us just assume that Coalition of Independents is a name and not necessarily an inherent structure or type of organization, right? So let's assume that Coalition of Independents isn't a type of organization, it's just the name of an organization. Because I haven't seen anything like in the recent launch of candidates. I mean, they were the first organization to formally launch and recognize candidates, right? We could give them that, but I haven't seen any statements from those candidates that would suggest to me or lead me to believe that this is a coalition of independents that have organized amongst themselves to work together. It feels like it is a coalition of independents that are being led by a central body of organizers, right? And I think that that's different. So let's assume that a coalition of independents does not denote a type of organization, but it's just the name of a political party.
Yes, it's different from its initial state.
Yeah, I think so. I think it has morphed, and I don't think that we've seen any commentary. I don't think you could go online and find anywhere a formal or official statement from the entity explaining how it operates as a coalition of individual parties working together. Right? I haven't seen that yet.
Okay.
And that's a bit concerning for me because I think there's a lot of things that we should see from an entity that is a political party that we haven't seen yet from the COI. And I will say at this point, of course, Newry, you taking calls today?
Yeah, why not? But let's we ain't on the call yet, right?
All right.
Let's start hashing out the show.
The text line is 422-GR96. If you would like to point me to a link or a space where all of that information could be found, please do so. 422-GR96, 422-4796. Okay, so I am going to start reading from these articles. Here is a quote from one of the articles. He said Mr. Lewis would now have access to the COI's wide network of persons in every government ministry. The he we are referencing here is Lincoln Bain. And that comes from the article Coalition Bolstered by Lewis's Addition to Party. I'll start the sentence earlier. Mr. Bain said, referring to Mr. Lewis's status as the party's sole MP and therefore its parliamentary caucus leader. He said Mr. Lewis would now have access to the COI's, quote, wide network of persons in every government ministry, close quotes.
I did not know that the COI had a wide network of people, not just people now, people who works in government. And what does he mean by that? Is that a whistleblower type concept that he's saying that there are COI representative who can provide him with information about the government?
Right. I don't know what he means by that, but the question I have is, does the use of the term network suggest that this constitutes a national security issue? Like, what do you mean you have a network of people in every government ministry? Right? Because the first question I want to say is, like, how do you start your parliamentary career? That we indicate you have a parliamentary caucus now, like your parliamentary caucus leader. How do you start your parliamentary career? by announcing what may turn out to be a massive breach in general orders, right? How do you know what the political affiliation of these civil servants are?
I'm assuming they came in and recognized themselves. Say, hey, I am a supporter and I work at this ministry.
Yeah, but see, the general orders, right? General orders say that you're not supposed to reveal your political affiliation.
I believe not necessarily reveal, not promote. So you can tell somebody, well, I support this particular party, but not necessarily promote.
No. You can't. I don't think there's a difference between promote and reveal, because what you're suggesting is you cannot campaign.
Yeah, but the Constitution trumps general orders, and the Constitution allows people to vote and have a political party.
Remember, ordinary legislation and statute are deemed to be good until they're shown to be bad. It don't matter if it breaches the Constitution until it's shown to be a constitutional breach, and then the legislature responds to the judiciary by amending whatever document or statute it is. It stands.
I hear, but I don't think there's a challenge as yet. No one has challenged it for it to come constitute what you're trying to say. It has to at least be a challenge.
No. The other side has to challenge it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So there's no breach yet.
The breach has occurred. The thing says you're not supposed to reveal who you affiliated with.
Okay, that was subjective. Okay, let's go to this quick caller, then we can continue.
Yeah,
reading
absolutely.
together. Go ahead, caller.
Sure, how you doing?
Good,
Very
thank
well.
you.
Wait, a question. Are you implying that Fred Mitchell may or may not know that you and C.A. Newry spoil your ballot?
I spoiled my vote.
Well, I tell you what I do know. Nobody that I know could find the breakdown of the results for the last election, the 2021 election. So we don't know how many ballots were spoiled.
Okay.
I spoiled some ballots before, but I ain't say spoiled the ballots this time.
Thank you.
This time I voted. Put the X.
All right. Here's another quote from that article. He noted the party now holds a seat on the Public Accounts Committee, PAC, describing this as a major step in their push for government accountability. So first things first, Hiram Lewis was appointed a member of the PAC as a member of the FNM administration, opposition, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the procedure is?
He represents the FNM in the Public
PAC,
the Public Accounts Committee.
Hold on, pause.
Go ahead.
Does he represent the FNM or does he represent the opposition?
No, the official opposition appointed him as a FNM representative. So I'm not sure how many people they need to have, the official opposition need to have there. But it is a point to argue that as a third party personnel, is he automatically a part of the the council committee?
Right.
The PAC?
Does opposition mean official opposition or any opposition? Because Lewis would still be a part of the opposition, right? And so before, I think that's a bit of speculation or trying to create reality, because we have to determine what are the procedures for appointment to the PAC.
Yeah. And now that he resigned from the
FNM.
shouldn't all his appointments as an FNM be rescinded?
Right.
And then they should have the right to appoint whoever they want.
Absolutely. Let's go to the phone line and then we get back to that. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good morning, guys.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Good, thank
The
you.
only one official opposition, man. There's the only one official opposition in the House Assembly.
Hold on, pause. Okay, there's only one official opposition, but the COI there now. They there?
That's fine. They got a seat. They get a seat. Just how Hubert Minnis had a seat when he wasn't the official opposition anymore.
No, pause. Minnis was always a part of the official opposition. He just was no longer the leader of the party that composed the opposition in the House.
Leader,
huh?
Right? So what I'm saying is, when you have the independent, right? Say the COI, in any independent candidate, like you had Rawlins and Fred McAlpine, those you had.
No. Hold on. Did McAlpine run as an independent in the 2021 election?
Yes, he did,
No. I mean, the last election just now.
No, you mean not the by-election?
No,
The
election-
2021 election, the snap election in 2021, where the FNM lost.
He
Davis
ran
won.
as an
Yes,
independent,
yes, he ran
right?
as an independent.
He ran as an independent. Okay, go
He
on.
ran as
That
an
purple-
independent.
that
He
purple
ran as
group.
an independent.
I don't think, did
So-
Rollins run as an independent?
No, Rose is
he
no longer
didn't.
there.
No.
Yeah, okay. Just
So
checking.
what I'm saying is, but Rollins was in the House, right?
It's 2017 now.
As a independent, basically when he left the PLP, right?
Okay, so the question is, when did he formally, didn't Rollins join the FNM?
Yes.
When
Yeah,
did he
but what I'm
formally,
saying is-
but pause, when did he formally join the FNM, right? Did he resign and in the House and sit and say, I am declaring myself an independent?
He was an independent for a point of time in that House Assembly.
But for how long? Like, was it for that
I
the
don't
end of
know.
that session, the end of that day?
I cannot forget. No. He was in that House of Assembly as an independent because he spoke out. He was speaking out. He was in that House of Assembly as an independent.
Oh, but okay, let's talk about it because
The same as Aaron. The same as you had Kennison Wells. What I'm saying is those guys were just independent members of the House of Assembly who didn't have access to that PAC, those particular type stuff.
Okay, but
which I think is reserved for the official opposition to put members of the opposition party on. You know,
Okay.
I could be corrected.
Yeah, it's where it's interrogated.
Thank you very much.
I hear you.
So let me respond to that, reading from these two articles. The first, Iram Lewis exits FNM and joins Coalition of Independent. Mr. Lewis's departure from the FNM is notable not only for its timing, but because it breaks a trend. No governing party member has severed ties with their caucus during this term. That starkly contrasts the previous two governing administrations, which saw high-profile defections. The consequences of crossing the floor vary in Bahamian politics. Bamboo Town MP Tennyson Wells left the FNM and retained his seat as an independent in 2002, only to lose his next bid to Branville McCartney, who later left the FNM himself to form the Democratic National Alliance and was defeated in 2012. Okay, and then I'm going to read from No Room for Minutes. Former PM and Gibson denied nominations. Here we go. Last year, Dr. Minnis, who stepped down as party leader after the FNM's crushing 2021. Maybe this is not the quote, Mr. Newry. Let's go to the caller. Oh, here we go. Here we go. From coalition bolstered by Lewis's addition to party. With MPs from both major parties breaking ranks over ideological rifts, leadership disputes, or personal ambition. Branville left the FNM in 2011 to form the DNA. Andre Rollins and Renwood Wells both defected from the PLP to the FNM during the last Christie administration, while Greg Moss formed his own party after resigning from the PLP. Under the Minnis administration, a wave of resignations included Vaughn Miller, who joined the PLP, Reese Chipman, who served the rest of his term as an independent, and Halston Moultrie, who resigned while serving as House Speaker. Frederick McAlpine, though never formally resigning, became one of the FNM's most vocal internal critics and was ultimately denied renomination. And so thank you, caller, for the intervention.
I appreciate the information about Greg Moss. I forgot about that. He
Yeah.
formed his own party. Because remember they said that history, by being the first third party in the House of recent time or something.
Right.
But Greg Moss had his own party as a third party.
Right. And this article suggests that McAlpine never actually formally resigned.
No.
Right? He was just,
Backbencher.
he was creating a federation,
Yeah.
a cacophony of confusion.
There you go.
Or concerted critical interrogation.
Say the word again?
Concerted.
No, I know concern.
Critical?
No,
A federation, a cacophony.
Not that word.
A cacophony of confusion.
I heard I often said that word, but that's okay. Let's go. Let's go to the caller.
Confusion have a F in it, man.
Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM.
Good morning, CA Newry, and good morning, Aaron. How you all doing?
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, Aaron, I have just a couple of questions in respect to this. The Member of Parliament for Central Man Bahama crossing the floor.
Okay.
I've heard people, I haven't really made any public commentary on it until now, but
And before I do it, maybe you all in media can assist me with these particular questions. I've listened to you talk about people crossing the floor in developed country. That happens all over the time. So I don't know where the history is in this that some people are talking about in this move, this being the first time in history. Maybe you could elaborate on that.
I just don't watch it. I just did reading from the articles. Iram, no room for Gibson and Minnis. No room for Minnis and Aram Lewis's FNM and coalition bolstered by Lewis's addition to the party. They have great little historical recaps of the situation.
Well, now, historical research, I could understand that, but I remember no first time in history. Now, my thing is this, right? I'm waiting for the two questions from the media in respect to this move to understand whether this is a good move in the best interest of the country and the people of Central and Grand Bahama.
Well, you tell me, and I can give it to the media for you.
Okay. The question is that they're not really asking before all of this celebration. What are some of the things that that Mr. Lewis would have done? What are some of his the things that he would have done while he was minister in his capacity and as a member of parliament for his constituents? Perhaps, because all people talking about is the move, but they're not talking about whether asking these questions so we, the Bahamian electorate, could see, the context of this particular move.
Okay,
Because
pause for a second. Hold on, pause for a second. The front page of today's Nassau Guardian, constituents wanted Lewis gone. Front page story, speaking exactly to the questions that you had been asking, and then in today's Tribune, an interrogation of another political figure caught up in a similar situation. We won't vote if Minnis rejected. So the media has gone to that second portion of the questions, right? Determining what was his record. What?
Yeah, because it's so critical because perhaps this move could only be where you would have perhaps a lousy MP trying to save his political life by switching to one of the center groups. Or perhaps he could have been, in terms of his track record, if he had a good one, this could have been a rising star that the FNM perhaps would have lost. Who would have been doing so well in his capacity as minister at the time, and now for the last 8 years as a member of parliament.
Well, let's read.
This ain't to really celebrate yet until we examine this man's track record. You follow me?
I got you. I just want you to know that
they could be picking up someone who like the article said, some constituents wanted him gone, and perhaps we could examine that too to see whether that is a sour grape question. But we could find out very easily exactly. You could ask him what has he done. List of some of the things that he has done that he could perhaps bring to the splinter group, and whereas he could continue on doing what he's doing. I want to really know these particular things. They are very pertinent questions.
I appreciate it. And it is something that we will continue to watch and interrogate. I'm sure for next week. I'm sure within next week, as he moves in the House as this COI representative, he will try and attempt to be more vocal and more elaborate. But to me, he's kind of a demure, a quiet member of parliament in the House now. So I'm not sure how he will add to the COI's message, who seems to be like a radical group, trying to get as much attention to promote their ideas and concepts.
Absolutely. I got a question here. Can Lewis be any more effective as a COI MP than an FNM MP? Holding a seat in the HOA also means greater accountability and less antics from Bain and the COI. How do Lewis and the COI balance constituency work and HOA attendance? Right? Can you afford it? Can you afford to do the work in Grand Bahama and do the work in New Providence in the House of Assembly without
it is a challenge to go back and forth. It's very expensive being an out island, family island MP.
Yeah.
To go back and forth, be active, and then to be present on Wednesday and Thursday, to be in the House of Assembly, right?
Now, I think that Bain may be aware of the procedure of the PAC, and he may be goosey and pintard, right? And so the question is, would Pintard reappoint Lewis as a COI opposition member to the PAAC if he has the authority to do so? Right? Some callers
I would think
question.
about that is me. If it was me, I'm not saying I'm being vindictive or anything. You're not an F&M. The position and my appointment would be for my party members.
Well, listen, if your party leaders around the place saying things like Mr. Lewis would now have access, well, he didn't say this part, quote, wide network of persons in every government ministry. If I were Pintard, maybe I would not include him because of petty politic, right? But because you've already suggested in the public domain that you're not concerned about the rules and your political action is breaching governing statutes or standards, right? Like or legislation. So, like you say you wouldn't reappoint him. I would not reappoint him, but make it a technical point, right? That you can't be going around the place talking about you got a wide network of persons in every government ministry, and then if I could read from the article again, coalition bolstered by Lewis's addition to party. He warned F&M leader Michael Pintard against removing Mr. Lewis from the PAC, claiming that doing so would, quote, show his hand, close quotes, and reveal a desire to keep secrets from the public. Right? I just think it was a reckless and unnecessary statement, and what a disappointing way to begin your parliamentary
I have a number of people questioning
caucus.
who said that Hiram Lewis made history by...
Lincoln Bain said that.
Lincoln Bain said that. I remember hearing it. That's why I said...
I'll read from the article.
Yeah, thanks for the memory about Greg Morse, because I forgot about him. But go ahead.
Coalition bolstered by Lewis's addition to the party. Mr. Lewis, however, dismissed concerns and said, it's not about colors, it's about the Bahamas. He added, what I heard my brother say this morning was not a xenophobic speech. It was a speech of empowerment for the Bahamas, close quotes. COI leader Lincoln Bain yesterday described Mr. Lewis's formal defection as, quote, history being made, close quotes, praising the former minister for, quote, starting the revolution that the country needs, close quotes. So that was Lincoln Bain's words. All right, let's go to this quote. Oh, well, you got a caller on the line? You want to go to them quickly? Good morning, caller.
Good morning to both of you, Alan Johnson.
Morning.
Just want you to know that Bramley McCartney also sat in the House as a leader of the third party, the DNA.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
And remember, I served as chairman of the United Democratic Party with Greg Moss.
Yes, I remember.
And so that was, in fact, what was historical about that is the tabling of a document. There's some things about the Constitution that you have to understand as leader of a party, as an independent as well as a party. As far as Mr. Lincoln being, who is good at beating his mouth, he talks about this PAC and he talks about filing a judicial review. Anyone knows that you don't need to be a part of the PAC or in the House of Assembly to ask for judicial review on anything. And so all Mr. Lincoln Bean has to do is demonstrate his so-called superior knowledge to everyone else and go file a judicial review for whatever it is that he claims that he needs access to information for, and stop misleading the people as if you need to be. I am Lewis serving as anything except leader of that party in the House of the Assembly is just a waste of time. Here it is that you had an individual that thought that he had the political power. Are we forgetting that Hiram Lewis sought leadership of the Free National Movement?
Okay.
Yeah,
okay. Mm-hmm. Right. So So now it is that you sought leadership of the Free National Movement as a pathway to leadership for us, for the prime ministerhood, and now you would serve as a lesser member, being the only one with the power and authority of that party in the House of Assembly, that you would now serve to the beck and call of the ranting and raging of the leader, of the current leader. And so the mere fact that Mr. Lewis would have to show is that he understands and comprehends the collection of Ms. Newman called, the source called vision and contradictions, and represented in the House of Assembly and be able to defend that position. And so, when you look at the context of governance of a country and even your position in the House of Assembly, Mr. Lewis responds to a constituency, first of all, as the collective of Central Grand Bahama. I am a member of that, and we were seeking to get rid of Mr. Lewis in the last election. now where you have a party. This is not information that I have. This is information where they were asked to submit possible candidates for Central Grand Bahama, and his executive team and his people said to him, we will be submitting a list of names and your name will not be on it. The question then comes to Mr. Lewis is, if you are holding this position of wanting this change and seeing this defect, why you did not leave before they told you they would not even consider you for a nomination, that you found it necessary now to come forward and put that you're now joining the coalition of independents.
See, Alan, hold on. You said something and it's so excitable. It's so exciting. I got excitable. Watch this. So you're saying that Lewis knew, like formally, he was formally aware? Because that's, I got a follow-up question to that.
Yes.
Because
yes.
this
No,
article.
This is not the party.
Okay.
This was in Mr. Michael Pintard saying, you see, your name, the branch, the constituency submits these individuals for consideration.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying, you know how they say, here's a list of the 4 or 5 people who we would like to be considered, or who wants to be considered for it.
Uh-huh.
If he even sent a letter, imagine the branch telling you, we don't want nothing to do with you. We're not even putting you on the list to send in for the party to consider.
Okay, so when the branch and central government ain't on your run, ain't nobody on your run.
Right. So the question then becomes, this happens last week, maybe say Thursday or so, right? And then now all of a sudden you have this opening, this wide awakening. Because what happens is, how they say? There's a concept saying, your name gets picked out of the hat, but your name can't get picked out of the hat if you're not even in the hat.
Man, okay, see, Alan, it's too excitable. I'm too excitable in this moment. You see the look on Minnis's face in the paper yesterday. Did Minnis know?
No, I'm saying I don't know.
You don't know
what his branch told him.
I got you.
The question, let me ask you something. The question asks of Lewis that you guys should have listened to in the news. Did Pintard, the leadership of the party, tell you that you were not going to get nominated? And he said no.
Well, Pintard didn't jump up. Hold on. I just want to note that one of these articles indicates that Pintard was not in the chamber. He was not present when Lewis made this speech.
No, but how? See, but remember, Lewis didn't tell anybody he was going to make the speech. So there was no way for Pintard to know in advance that Lewis was going to make a speech.
I got to let you go before the people say I bad-mouthed Pintard. How you could be leader of the party and you ain't in the house?
No, you are.
You guys show up every day to wait.
The party, there's certain things, and oftentimes you'll see the prime minister's near the launch, but eventually they show up.
Don't mind, I got a word for him too.
It's not only to appear in the parliament, it's also to do things that has a responsibility as leader of government and leader of opposition.
Mr. Johnson, tell Pintard that we expect him to show up to work every single day. Otherwise, you could imagine if he wasn't in the house when the boy tried to throw out the mace. What a time, what a time.
Remember he said I wasn't orchestrated. I caught her by surprise too. But we're going to take a quick commercial break right now. We'll come back with our interrogation.
After the break, I can tell you about my interview for ZNS. I did an interview for Mr. Newry. I said I can do the best interview ever for ZNS. I went and I found Adrian White Singlet. He did not take the weight with him that day. And I interviewed him. ZNS still wouldn't hire me. That's better than any interview Clint Watson ever did.
Have mercy. Anyway, we're going to come right back. That the Val Boys lose the name? What's happening with the Val Boys?
Valley Boys have the Way Forward Valley Boys name has been struck from the NPO register.
Yeah. So who has the name? What about the logo?
You know what? I didn't even know about the logo. I know the name, only this organized.
I can show you the new letter. New letter came out from the registrar today. We're going to be right back.
Just sign in and have a seat, please. They'll call you in for your x-ray shortly.
That's why they call it a waiting room. You won't have that problem at 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor. We never schedule multiple appointments, so you'll be in and out in no time. And if your initial screening reveals a concern, our radiologist can conduct an alternative screening right then and there. Call 328-8157 to schedule an appointment at 4th Terrace Diagnostic Center or Imaging at Grosvenor today.
Looking for insurance that fits your lifestyle and your budget? At Star General Insurance, we've got you covered.
Whether it's motor insurance with flexible options for third-party liability and comprehensive coverage, or commercial insurance products that protect your business, we have choices you can afford. Own a home or renting? Our home insurance products have just what you need. And for the adventurers out there, we offer marine insurance too. Visit our website or social media pages for contact information and quotes. Star General, insurance made simple.
Sports fans, get ready for the Splice and Connect B3A's Carifta Trials this weekend, April 4th through 6th at the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. The action starts at 5 o'clock on Friday, 3 o'clock on Saturday, and 3 o'clock Sunday. And mixed in there will be exciting field events for all 3 days. This is the final stretch. Who will make this year's Bahamas Carifta team? Headed for Trinidad and Tobago on the Easter holiday weekend. Tickets are only $15 for adults, $7 for children. VIP tickets, only $25. 3-day passes available too. $35 adults, $15 children, and $65 VIP. It's the Splice and Connect B3A Carifta Trials this weekend, April 4th through 6th at the original Thomas A. Robinson Track and Field Stadium. You don't want to miss this one.
You're a builder. You want to give your client the best material at the best prices, and you need to put food on the table. Well, check out these prices at Pinder Enterprises. 5/8 pressure-treated roofing ply starting at $36.68, includes VAT. By the way, all these prices include VAT. Gray Select Water Shield, $134.20 a roll. Felt, £15, $16.50, £30, $19.80. Owens Corning Duration Shingles and Certainty Landmark Shingles, $56.56 a bundle. Gallon Roof Cement, $33.47. When it comes to screwing and nailing, Pinder got you covered. He got every nail and screw you could possibly need.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
And welcome back to Guardian Radio AM with CA Newry. During our last 15 minutes, some rapid questions. Or you still want me ask about that singlet that...
Yeah, because you were supposed to ask me about the interview, right?
Yeah.
And so, listen, I don't want to say it's discrimination. I just saying I did the interview, right? And I asked Adrian White, singlet, how did people say it planned? But how could it be planned? And, he said, exactly. You think I was going to let Adrian White go to work to get stretched up without his best singlet on? So I asked him, well, why you didn't go to work with him that day? He said, well, it's a personal thing. The boy called me a wife beater. I tell him I never beat wife, I beat drum all my life. He say, in fact, I never been married as a singlet. Yeah? I thought that was going to be it. I thought I was going to have a job forever at ZNS after I submit that interview in Newry. It didn't work out. So now I just could try for politics.
That's one of your improv type thing, right?
I just can try for politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I saw an ad say the person's looking for a donkey. Where could they get one?
Where I'm going to ask you another similar question. What does Pintard and the FNM have to do in the next 18 months to prove that they can govern? Do they have any superstars? Where do you go to find political superstars?
We don't know what the FNM bench is. We know the 5 candidates they have. I guess you minus Gibson 2. That's 5 minus 1. That's 4.
7 minus 3 is 4.
Yeah, so that's 4 now. And
who
can
else?
any of them be prime minister, you think? Attractive? Have the what do they call it? The charisma, the riz.
First of all, Adrian White cannot be prime minister.
Why can't he be?
Because I don't want to mash up my neighbor.
That's why he can't be.
Every prime minister I've met requires a severe degree of mashing up. And why would y'all make me do that to my neighbor?
Well, Adrian White could be prime minister, I guess.
I mean, I think he could be a good prime minister, but he will also get mashed up. And I don't
It'd be mash up.
Shannon Dorr can't be prime minister because he's ride bicycle.
He need to ride some more bicycle.
He'll never get to work on time.
If you leave early enough.
If he leave yesterday,
yeah,
maybe he'll get. But who are the superstars? And has Lewis stolen the thunder? Right? Has he made this move that he's made? Has he stolen the thunder from any potential superstar candidates? People hiding in the wings saying that they coming out with a big showing.
Lewis, like a number of our politicians, have issues with communicating. You see, they struggle to form words and sentences in a coherent way where you can say, okay, what he's saying is believable.
Somebody texted in and said Mr. Lewis was supposed to be the opposition leader after Mr. Minnis.
Yeah.
Why? I believe it's because y'all think handsome man could do
They had the
anything. That's what it
election,
is?
And the people decided that they didn't want him. Rejection. Yeah, we move on.
All right, so here's another quote. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell added that Mr. Lewis's political future could include more shifts in party allegiance.
What do you mean by that?
I found that intriguing. Is the PLP courting Lewis?
It sounds like he's
What
could be
about
courted.
what about Minnesota Gibson? Could the PLP survive the internal disruption by bringing a Minnis or Adrian Gibson into the fold?
There's no need for the PLP to court an Adrian Gibson.
But what if
There's
the
benefit.
rumors are true that they're going to attempt to expand the constituencies?
They'll have two.
Add
Long
more,
Island.
add couple more
And
constituencies.
I believe that's going to happen this election. I think that we get. How much is this now?
39.
I think we have up to 43, 44 different.
MPs, but all can't be cabinet minister.
Oh, it's a PLP. Why not?
Because we cannot afford it.
We can't afford it.
They can't even afford to produce expenditure reports. You think we could afford that?
You'll see. Go ahead. Finish actually.
All right. Does Mitchell anticipate the three MPs forming another party? And then, see, here's a question. What happens? What's the likelihood that Minnis, Gibson, and Lewis, since you all think Lewis could be a prime minister, take all the rejected candidates, right? All the hopefuls that didn't get a nomination with the FNM and the PLP, and maybe even the COI. What if Minnis leads them to the formation of another new party?
That's all a lot of what ifs. And we never have no inclination that even is on the agenda.
You think Minnis ever considered what if they don't run me again? You think he considered that?
I think he considered it now.
Okay.
It's like the handwriting on the wall.
Will the PLP call a snap election, hoping to take advantage of unrest in the FNM and hoping to stop COI momentum? Let me just read the quote. PLP Chairman Fred Mitchell said he wasn't surprised by Mr. Lewis's departure, citing long-standing reports of unrest within the FNM. Will the PLP call a snap election, taking advantage of this unrest or uncertainty in the FNM and attempting to stop COI momentum?
I don't know. I don't know what's on the PLP's agenda. If they're going to, because they now they definitely campaigning. Are they taking their time to explain all of their highs and highlighting all of their accomplishment? How long will that take?
Mm-hmm.
How long will the tour? Because the Prime Minister is going touring all the family islands. How long will this take? Right?
Hold on, pause. Surely he's doing on-site personal assessments of the airport project. He's not doing that to campaign, is he?
I don't know, but I know he's on the island and he's touring and then inspecting at the same time.
Prime Minister, while you're on the island of Long Island, please ask the people at the airport why they don't have a wheelchair at the airport. Please and thank you. You could imagine the whole Long Island tourism product could fall apart for the want of
Producer,
a
let's
wheelchair.
get this call quickly, please, so as Aaron continue the questions. Go ahead, caller. Can you hear us?
Hello, good day.
Good day.
Good day.
Good day, Mr. Newry, and good day, Aaron.
Good day.
Yeah, amongst excitable people, have you all ever thought of if Hiram Lewis had sat down with the FNM leadership and consider resigning the seat, and what would be the outcome within 30 days? They have to call a by-election. That's number one. The other thing was, Aaron, you said if he thinks that the people then would elect what handsome
They just elect handsome people for no reason.
Prime Minister.
Well, they elect him for MP, but you think we could just elect him for Prime Minister because he's handsome?
I can say it before you push that button, right? I mean, I don't know, because when you consider the feature of what who's leading the country now, I guess not.
What you say about my Prime Minister?
Good day.
But look here, we
What are you
love.
trying to say?
It's nothing more beautiful than a blue black man who could dance. Good God, that man could dance.
No, he's hop like, but it's no dancing. And
I watch him
we
dance.
know that he can't hum.
No, well, we know he can't hum, which surprises me how you could dance so well, but you can't hum.
But in regards to the by-election, there has been a time in the Bahamian politics when the candidate resigned and both parties decided not to have a by-election, but to continue the year out, and have the general election instead.
Well, look at that. Look how politics.
So that has happened in our history.
Look how politics could trump governance all the time, hey? But yes, thank you, caller, for saying something so exciting among such excitable people, but you knew to expect excitement. Because by-election, you might as well call a snap election.
Yeah,
I don't think the country could.
Because that's $1 million right there in trash. But like I said, I've seen both parties agree not to do a by-election and wait for the general election instead.
Iron, why you don't resign that seat? I want to see something.
You want to see something?
Yeah, let's go to the caller.
Go ahead, caller. Guardian Radio AM.
Morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm pretty good. I want to ask one question. When are you guys going to bring those African guys? I think the African guys who you had on early this week. Again? Talking the Bible. I really would like to interact with those guys. Please.
You want to go on again, though?
Okay.
You're the first woman I ever heard ask that question, by the way.
So, okay, there are opportunities to engage them sort of outside the radio station, but I could see the desire to engage them within sort of a framed conversation, you know?
So they're here? Where's the church or they
It's
reside?
on East Street South. As soon as you pass portion control, you there, caller?
East Street South after you pass
Portion control. As soon as you pass portion control, about 30 seconds on that 2-story building on the right-hand side, you can see the big sign all purple up. Downstairs is the place where they do hair and plait hair.
Okay.
I forget the building called, but it's a big sign right there. 30 seconds after you pass portion control on East Street South.
I want you guys to know that was one of the best shows I've ever heard you guys had.
What?
You had me. I was trying to get a call in, couldn't get a call in. Believe me, have them on again, please.
Everything
Have
stopped,
them
Aaron.
on again.
I got to engage you, miss. Oh, Lord have mercy. You support them, miss?
Certain things they were saying was on the mark. You know, you may not want to agree with it. You may not like it, but it was on the mark. You know, now I would have said, I'm going to be honest with you, I have said some stuff to them that I know they would have disagreed with, and I would have loved them going to the Bible for me. But I'm a Bible girl, so I would have went to the Bible for them. So please, if you guys get a chance, have them back on. But I enjoyed that show.
You serious, miss?
But you want us to have them on and frame the conversation to engage callers. I got you.
What you do? Leave your number. Leave your number, and I'll reach out to them, and so you can speak to one of those sisters, them, so you can have your Bible conversation with them.
Yes.
You see what he did just now?
Yes.
He's smart.
But don't worry, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna visit their church. I am because
You could go to the church too, miss.
I'm gonna visit their church. I want to have a conversation with them because it was. When I tell you, it was extremely entertaining. It was entertaining. Some of the stuff what they were saying was on mark, even though we would not want to agree with them. It was on mark, but I enjoyed that show, and I assure you, many Bahamians enjoyed that show.
And you sound so sensible, though, miss.
They enjoyed.
Man, to be fair,
You
Newry,
sound sensible.
Even I, on the divide that I stand, right, like in between us, that's how I frame the show, that there are things of value that are of value and that may be of value to others that we could glean from this community, even if we don't accept their theology, we don't accept their beliefs or their culture as a whole.
Anyway, ma'am, leave your number with the producer. I'm going to connect you to one of the sisters, them, so you go to church. Make sure you're straight and safe and go there and
Thank
listen.
you.
Yeah, man.
And again, awesome show, guys.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Thank you much.
Okay.
All right.
Place her on hold.
Yeah. Producer, take the caller's info for us, please. And then there's another caller up. But, Newry, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can Pintard be Prime Minister?
Of the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Have the people vote for him.
That ain't what I'm asking you.
What you asking?
Does Pintard have, I wasn't touching the button, does
Yeah, no
Pintard
problem.
have the capacity, right? The temerity, the fortitude.
The ability, the skills.
Yeah, the gravity. Can Pintard, can Pintard be an Ingram?
No, he doesn't have to be an Ingram.
Can Pintard be a Pinlin?
No, he doesn't have to be a Pinglin.
What does he have to be?
He just don't have to be like Menace. He didn't expect that answer. he didn't expect that answer. And he would be Prime Minister if don't be like Menace.
Who can...
You remember when Menace danced across the stage? I said, Lord have mercy.
No, he did. He tripped. Why y'all keep saying that?
Do you recognize the song?
tripped?
What song is this? Doom, 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 doom. Hit the road, Jack. Don't you come back no more, no more, no more. No. I said, Lord, look.
Listen,
and he became prime minister after that.
Pintard, please.
He became prime minister.
Pintard, like, y'all don't be paying attention.
Can Pintard dance?
Hold on, first of all.
If Pintard can't dance.
Gangsters don't dance, they boogie.
He can't be prime minister then. Because all our prime ministers dance.
First of all, Minnis tripped. Second of all, Minnis obviously tripped because nobody told him that the selection of your rally music may be the most important element of your public persona. This boy don't know about Ashford and Simpson. He don't know about Tina Turner. How you could play? You play that
Simply
for your
the best.
opposition, not for yourself, sir. I also don't go outside in the post-hurricane water barefoot.
Yeah.
Don't go outside flood water barefoot.
At least he's healthy. He's like exercise. He could run a mile.
So you telling me Leslie Miller could be prime minister then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Are Minnis, Gibson, and Lewis not being renominated because they're bad MPs or because they're bad team players?
You remember Loretta Butler Turner and her 6 band of Merry Men?
The Sad Seven?
Yeah, the Sad 7?
Yeah,
6,
yeah.
7. Were they nominated?
Were they renominated?
Yeah, by Minnis. All of them get silence, eh?
No, not all.
Which one was able to run? Picture the 6. Not a one.
Call the names, man. Somebody text him.
There was Andre Rollins. There's Loretta Butler Turner. Then there's Light Byrne, who said the woman them need to get who the woman them need to get sterilized, right? Then who else?
Key.
Which Key?
Edison Key.
Edison Key. He didn't nominate none. He silenced all.
Was that Key? I thought Key was PLP.
Well, we have her there.
No, but I remember that.
My point was 6 of them, and all 6 get silenced.
Well,
all
when
6 get silenced.
When
this is part of politics. He can get silenced. I expect them not to run a minister. I expect ministers to run as independent.
Well, see,
And
that's the next thing.
Let me say this last part.
Yeah.
I expect ministers to run as independent and lose.
Well, I think that's hold on. First of all, I didn't not necessarily lose, but I think that's a great point. How could Minnis convince us that he could be prime minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas if he was not brave enough or didn't have the capacity to run as an independent? Like, if you cannot run as an independent after being a prime minister and maintain your seat, then why you think you could convince us that you could do a better job as PM than you did before, or you should have been a PM in the first place?
Well, I don't believe anyone in the African could run as an independent and win.
Well, that's foreboding for the FNM, because I was going to ask you
Tells the tale.
who are their superstars, because it looked like Lewis stole the thunder from everybody. Nobody could make a bold move now unless they're brave enough.
But the COI head said there'll be more bold moves made.
So did Fred. I mean, even Fred said he anticipates. Oh, that's the music. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So we anticipate Iram Lewis to move from the COI and join the PLP?
Well, I don't know what Fred meant by that, but I'm wondering if Minnis is going to be bold enough to try and form a separate party like Loretta should have done right after she and the Sad 7 were sent home.
I expected to see that Minnis join the COI and become a leader and go with the momentum. No? COI. That's what's trending right now. COI. This has been Guardian Radio AM. Next week, we can continue these conversations. I mean, all kind of entertainment is happening inside Bahamas right now. 10% tariff. That American president trying to charge us.
Next week, I'm going to show you all how to squeeze juice out of a ganap.
You don't squeeze juice out of a ganap.
Listen, people don't even know you could eat ganap and live.
Have a good day.